Welcome back everyone to the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign. Today is Monday the 22nd of May 23 and we're just a couple of days post the end of the trial that was ongoing in the CCJ in Dublin for the last 15 weeks. So had a time to think about some of the issues in relation to the closing statements of both barristers for the defence on Thursday and Friday of last week. And it's been a sombre weekend insofar as it's very difficult to understand what it is we are dealing with here. It has brought a tear to the eye when we consider how this case has been reported on once again. And it is extremely scary when we show you just a couple of points that were completely omitted by our mainstream media. On Thursday morning last, Sean Gearan for the defence, closing his defence, highlighted that some of the cell site analysis put in by the prosecution would appear to have been in some way altered or tampered with to create a certain narrative. Now, Mr. Steyn did get his opportunity to rebut that, which is unusual insofar as the Defence Counsel normally has the final say, but Mr. Steyn was allowed to rebut the accusations by Sean Gearan SC, but the rebuttals I don't think allayed the fears that was risen by the defence team. And from what Sean Gearan and the defence team provided for the court would have serious concerns as to how certain information in relation to cell site analysis, where phones were pinging off certain masts, how that was altered to create a certain narrative. But that wasn't reported on. But the point I want to come to, which is the most serious, that we just simply cannot understand, it's in relation to the sightings of a vehicle in Crossmaglen Square on the night of the murder and robbery at Lordship Credit Union. And Brendan Condron, Senior Counsel for the Defence, showed a number of photographs of a vehicle. They're actually photographed CCTV stills from CCTV footage. So I'm just going to run through the three times very quickly. And the first one up on the screen you see here is that's an aerial view I just cropped off Google Maps. And the X at the bottom of the square is the exact area where the stills were taken from all the CCTV footage. Now, as you can see at the top, this is Crossmaglen Square, and we're looking at the 25th of January 2013, and this is at 19:30, and we know for a fact the stills taken here are the stills of James Flynn's BMW. And you can see the PSNI station at the bottom, and we know for a fact that it was James Flynn's BMW that was outside the PSNI barracks, came up to the junction of the Cullerville Road onto the square, turned right, and the still was taken from there. The car goes on to do 3 laps of the square, just drives around. That's the light red line around the square. So the BMW does 3 laps of the square, and we have 3 photographs from that happening. So that's your foundation, that's your starting point. You have the CCTV footage and it has been identified without any shadow of doubt as James Flynn's BMW. We move on then to 23:11 on the same night, and again the vehicle drives around the square 3 times, and there's 3 stills taken off the BMW, and on Garda Síochána said that this is Jimmy Flynn's BMW at 23:10. So obviously that's 2.5 hours after the murder and robbery, is that correct? 2 hours after the murder and robbery. But what was again hidden from the public and hidden in a maze of disclosed evidence, we put it up on the screen here. And this is Crossmaglen Square on the 25th of January 2013, just a few minutes after the murder and robbery at Lordship Credit Union. And we say it is the same BMW that does 3 laps of the square, and there's 3 stills taken from that those 3 laps. And if we take the 9 stills taken from the CCTV footage, we say without a shadow of a doubt that is the same car. That is James Flynn's car. And that evidence that was hidden, that vehicle in Crossmaglen Square at 21:37, means without any shadow of a doubt, and we know it anyway, Aaron Brady should not be in Portlaoise jail for the murder of Detective Garda Adrian Donohoe. It is as simple as that. And if there was any ambiguity about the footage, Garda James Carlin was in the stand on Wednesday the 10th of May, and he was reviewing the PSNI Crossmaglen Square footage. And yes, James Flynn's BMW, possibly, he does say possibly James Flynn's BMW at 21:37 to 21:44. Now, Garda James Carlin went to great lengths, and me think the lady does protest too much. He said, I think 12 or 14 times that the footage was very poor. Well, the footage wasn't that poor, Garda Carlin. If I give you an example of footage that was used in the prosecution, that there is bad footage that was used to prosecute our son. That is James Flynn's BMW. You can see them 2 blobs of late. And I think we've mentioned this to you before, how blobs of late were used to create a false narrative. It's very difficult to express the way you feel when you see this happening in front of you. Aaron looked for that footage many times. But we are fortunate, we have to say we are fortunate that at this moment in time we do have that footage. And we know that James Flynn's vehicle, James Flynn's BMW, was in Crossmaglen Square at the time of the modern robbery at Lordship Credit Union. So this charade has to stop at some stage. And obviously the main point and the most concerning, well, obviously the main point is the vehicle's there. We say it's James Flynn's car because it ties in with James and Aaron's statements. Sort of the times where Jimmy was dropping Aaron off at the yard where there were a few laundering was taking place. But what's very concerning, we've trawled all the newspapers since Friday, and not one mention of this is in any mainstream media. Not one line of it. Now, Eoin Reynolds and Schiller was in the court on Friday, and they obviously supply articles to all the mainstream media outlets. Now, there was, you can see here, some details about Judge Hunt's closing, and Judge Hunt was explaining that they would have the verdict on the 17th of September, so there's a 4-month wait for the verdict. And that's fine. Judge Hunt gave his explanation why it takes so long for a 3-judge jury to deliberate, and how they have to give details of the findings and how they reach those findings. That's quite fine, and that's standard practice. And that was reported on. But somehow the mainstream media have not told us that it's almost certain, and we say it is certain, that James Flynn's car was in the square at the time of the modern robbery at Lordship Credit Union. So we ask once again, now we have tried to, we did put up some messages under the Twitter accounts of those who reported what Judge Hunt said on Friday, but all messages have been blocked in underneath all of these, in the Argus, the Democrat, Breaking News, the Independent, Robin Schiller, Eoin Reynolds. They've blocked any messages or replies the public can put underneath these articles. And all we were asking is, we understand you're reporting Judge Hunt. Why did you not report that James Flynn's car was in the square at the time of the modern robbery, as was highlighted by Garda James Carlin? So there's no ambiguity really here whatsoever. So we will be starting again and detailing some of the information we've taken from this trial, and it marries in exactly with some of the information we've given through the 200 videos in the Justice for Aaron Brady case campaign. And we say once again, 54 days or 55 days in the CCJ, 15 weeks of courtroom trial in front of 3 judges. And we say once again, and anyone is free to try and contradict us, but they cannot. Not one line of the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign, not one line has been contradicted in those 15 weeks. So folks, we really need your support. Please like, comment and share. And if you can, drop a message to journalists, to mainstream media outlets, and just ask, why did they not report this news that was there to be reported on Friday and Thursday last at the closing statements of the defence team. Once again, thank you for joining the video here, and we'll speak to you very soon with more information in relation to the evidence that was presented in court. Thank you.